Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to SP Apparel's Q1 FY22 results conference call hosted by Systematix Institutional Equities. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. Shah Chaudhary from Systematix Institutional Equities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Systematix, I welcome you all on the SP Apparel's 1Q FY22 earnings call. I thank the management team of SP Apparel for giving us this opportunity to host them. From the management side, we have Chairman and Managing Director Mr. P. Sundarajan, Executive Director Ms. S. Lata, Director Mr. S. Chenduran, CEO Ms. P.V. Jiva, and CFO Mr. V. Balaji. Now I hand over the call to the Chairman, Mr. Sundarajan, for the opening remark. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you present on the call to discuss our quarter 1 FY22 performance. At the outset, I hope and wish that all of you and your loved ones are healthy and safe. During our performance call on FY21, we have discussed in detail about the COVID second wave situation and its implications on the business. In fact, there is no big change in the business operational environment after the second wave. Factories are allowed to function with 50% capacity, and buses which commute between factory and employee places are not allowed to replace full capacity. Hope this position will improve in couple of weeks' time and restore normalcy. Our major divisions have performed well during this quarter. It shows the inherent strength of the company. This sustainability and the experience gained during this period of the business will take us to a new height. Let's discuss segment-wise performances. With regard to garment division, the shipments to customers during this quarter increased year on year in spite of the lockdown in the UK and some of the other countries. Our customers are witnessing consistency in demand, especially for their online retailing business. Retailers' consolidation of supplier base is still happening, and that is one of the reasons which will support our growth going forward, as we continue to remain as one of their most preferred suppliers. Our current order book stands at rupees 335 crores. Our garment division revenue for the quarter stood at 115.68 crores, an increase of 136% year on year due to low base which was impacted by COVID. Our EBITDA margin improved from 12.7% to 26.1% this quarter. EBITDA margins are better due to recognition of RoSCTL announced by the Government of India. We have recognized RoSCTL value of rupees 8.5 crores during this quarter, out of which 4.5 crores is pertaining to Q4 of FY21. Our garment division EBITDA margins without the previous quarter RoSCTL would be at 22%, which is also very healthy. As mentioned in the previous call, we have consolidated factories to reduce the rent, workman transportation costs, and other operating overheads. We are confident that EBITDA margin would be between 18 to 20 in the coming future quarters. Our strategy in increasing the utilization levels by aggressive sourcing and training of workmen is yielding better results. Once the second lockdown lifted completely, our strategy of bringing more migrant employees will gradually start yielding better results. As I have already discussed in the last call, we have a strong customer base and all our infrastructure is in place to engage increased volume. We are also equally working on the strategy to increase skill-based employees, and I am confident of better growth in coming years. Let's talk about the spinning. Spinning is fully being utilized and is yielding good margin, adding to the garment division's margin. Currently, we are in the process of expanding our spin division by another 3,600 spindles, and now due to the pandemic, the project is delayed by another 3 months. Once the project is completed, we will be at 27,000 spindles. Processing division. The processing division's utilization level has increased due to investments in projects over the last 2 years. This is also contributing a considerable margin to the garment division. SPFL UK. SPFL UK again got disturbed due to the lockdown both in UK and India. But the unlocking is happening and we are seeing good recovery in order inflow. This division is looking very promising. We have 3 new customers now. SP UK revenue stood at 11.62 crores and compared to rupees 8.61 crores of revenue year on year. Our current order book for SP UK is at sterling pound 7.1 million. Regarding retail, before analyzing the performance of retail division, I would like to share an update on the retail division. The board has given consent to set up a wholly owned subsidiary company for the purpose of retail operations. Rationale of setting up a wholly owned subsidiary company for retail operations is due to the following reasons. We are very optimistic about the retail division and the future of retail industry. Hence, we would like to re-strategize and restructure the current retail operation. We would like to unlock the value in the retail division, and you are aware that we have already tried to hive off retail division on a going concern few quarters before, but that did not go through. As we have mentioned earlier, our retail division is a single brand retail licensee model which has limitations to market access, customer demand, and optimization of overheads. Moving to the next level, we need to have a couple of more brands, either owned as well as any licensee, which requires additional investment towards creating larger distribution channels, investment in brand awareness, and working capital requirements. The company intends to expand the retail division into a large network of stores and distributors and would require a focused business plan with investments and hiring of key management people. The retail division has sufficient market opportunity and experience, but however constrained by margins and existing business model. The single brand strategy does not leverage the existing or future potential. Hence, it was proposed to move operations into a subsidiary company and appropriate investments be raised in the new entity for further expansion. Investment may be sought from external private equity investors and or other options of raising equity. This strategy will improve the performance and the valuation of both the garment and retail company. The board has constituted a committee to look into the process and means in which operations will be shifted to the subsidiary company. Regarding our liquidity position, it continues to remain comfortable. We have cleared all the interest and debt installment obligations that were due until today. We have strategized on the retail division and will work towards unlocking value for our retail division as well as our stakeholders. In garment division, we are working towards better utilization of capacities and increase in revenue by strategically having different verticals of business which will parallelly grow along with this business, and we are excited about the new vertical. Now I will request CFO to give an overview about the financials. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Let me just run through you the financial of Q1 performance of the company. We have made a revenue of 131 crores as against 59 crores of revenue year on year, which is an increase of 120%. Our adjusted EBITDA margin stood at 27.83 crores as against 5.28 crores of year on year, which is an increase from 8.8% to 21.1%, which is 427% increase. Our PBT stood at 16.82 crores, which is at 12.8% as against a negative PBT of 5.82 crores year on year. Our PAT margin stood at 11.56 crores as against negative PAT of 5.82 crores last year. Our PAT is at 8.8%. On the division-wise performance, Garment division revenue stood at 115 crores versus 49.06 crores year on year. Our Garment division's EBITDA stood at 26.1% as against 12.7% year on year. Our Retail division revenue stood at 4.54 crores versus 2.15 crores year on year. Our EBITDA margins for Retail division stood at negative 53.8% as against 32.7% negative year on year. UK revenue stood at 11.62 crores in Indian rupees as against 8.61 crores year on year, and an EBITDA margin which is at break-even 0.3% for the current quarter as against an EBITDA negative of 2.6% year on year. Our gross debt stood at 157 crores and our net debt is at 132 crores. Currently, our inventory is at 81 crores as against 241 crores of March. This inventory, which is increased, is mainly because of cascading of the orders, where we were not able to dispatch orders due to the lockdown. Our receivables are at 77 crores as against 94 crores year end, and our other assets are at 43 crores as against 34 crores of year end. Our trade payables are at 78 crores as against 73 crores of year end. Rest of the information is available in the presentation, and we can get into the questionnaires straight away. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, you may press star and one to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Ashwin Reddy from Samatva Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. So, and for the clarification on the retail side as well. So, wanted to get some more clarity on the retail part of the business. So, one, is there any specific strategy to focus on the kids wear, or is it like a general thing is what you're looking at in retail? That's the first question. And second, given that through SP Retail Brands, you already have, I believe, have the ownership of Head and Angel and Rocket in India. So how does that tie in with what you have on the private side of the business?
Can you repeat your first question?
So first thing was, say within retail, would you, so what is if you could give more specifics on the strategy with respect to, is it focused on kids wear, or is it like a general retail or your own brands, or is it again franchises for some brands, or some clarity would be helpful as to what are your plans on retail.
So on retail, Ashwin, is like currently it's proposed to transfer our operation into a subsidiary company, raise equity there, either through private equity or through other means of equity, then try to consolidate on couple of more brands. It could be either own brand or it could be on the licensee brand, because the single brand retail, as chairman was informing and discussing on the opening remarks, the single brand retail is has got its limitations and is not able to push more. So since the retail industry is good and we wanted to explore all the opportunities, currently now the strategy is to move the operations into the retail subsidiary company and then try to build brands there, raise equity there, and move forward. That is the strategy.
But we have a plan for one kids brand and one sports brand. That is what we are going to look for, and most probably it should be the way it is.
Sure. But right now, so I believe SP Retail Brands has both Head and also Angel and Rocket, right? In India, because I was seeing some interviews online. That's what I understand is there with SP Retail Brands. So would they be moved into this company or will they operate separately? Because will that remain private and run separately?
It is. The retail branch is something which was set up previously a year and a half before when we wanted to hive off. So I'm not sure, or things could, there could be a time where it could also be part of the subsidiary company.
Okay, all right, sir. All right. Thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Giriraj Daga from KM Visaria Family Trust. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So my first question is you mentioned about the expansion in retail, and we will be looking to expand our footprint there. So what is the investment strategy? Have we finalized? So we will only be investing with the external money what we'll be getting, or will we be investing from our SP Apparel balance sheet also?
So in terms of strategy on investment into the retail, I guess why at all we are looking at subsidiary and raise money there is because we are not investing more money into retail, and that is why the operations is getting transferred to a subsidiary company, and you allow the subsidiary company to raise its own capital and then consolidate into the operations and move forward. That is why we are moving the operations into a subsidiary company.
Understood. So just to make myself clear, you will be looking out for the fundraising plan. And suppose, I'm just playing a devil's advocate here, suppose if we don't able to make any success out there, so will we just keep the plan on hold, or will we then take a different call there?
No. See, the strategy is to raise funds there. And if you ask what happens if it is not being able to raise money there, we cannot answer that question at the present moment. But we are very confident that over a period of 3-4 years' time, we can also look at a listing of separate retail as a separate company 3-4 years down the lane. That should be also a possibility.
Okay. My second question is on garment division. So you mentioned if I heard you right, you mentioned 18 to 20% of EBITDA margin guidance, right?
Correct.
This is assuming the new revised ROSCTL rates, right?
Yeah. This is including the ROSCTL, which will be extended until March 24.
So last time we were talking about 18%. So I thought this time we will be minimum 20%, right? This should not be the case?
When we last time spoke about EBITDA of 18%, we were looking at ROSTEP, which would be at 2%. Now ROSTEP is not been extended to the garment division, garment industry as such. So now it is being the ROSCTL which is being given. So there is an additional 2% which is coming up, and that's why we are saying that EBITDA margins between 18 to 20% could be the. So we have increased the spread.
Okay. I was looking at minimum 20% rather than 18-20% price band. I was looking at a minimum 20% kind of a number.
But still, it's better to, give a range of 18 to 20. Which, I mean, if you look at the historical thing, but for the lockdown period, we have been able to maintain it. And I think once we ramp up our top line, probably this may improve.
Okay. My last question and a follow up on the same question, same segment only. We did about 9 million kind of number this quarter. So what is our full year guidance looking at the order book in our hand? And you mentioned about that there was some inventory also, and that's why our inventory number has gone up. So have we seen the traction that shipping in July, August so far? So the second quarter should probably be much better than the first quarter.
Yeah, definitely. Second quarter will be better than the first quarter in terms of quantity on the sales front. And for looking at the guidance, I guess anywhere between 57 to 58 million pieces could be the possible number.
Okay. Just last clarification, you mentioned inventory number up. Can you just give me the number? It just slipped from the call.
280 crores.
280 crores. Okay, thank you.
An increase of 39 crores against March.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rajesh Kumar from Share Giant. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for giving an opportunity to ask the question. Just explain about the order book, but sorry, I missed that. If you can just repeat what is the kind of order book you have?
335 crores for our garment division and 7.1 million pounds for SP Apparel UK Limited.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And sir, on the UK business, so wanted to get some color due to there has been too much of moves which is in one of your main markets where there has been due to COVID unlocking situation is happening. So how do you see the trend here, sir, and what is your outlook, sir? Okay.
You're talking about UK?
Yes, sir.
So, in the opening remarks, he has already said that the unlocking is happening in UK, and we are seeing good traction in the orders. In fact, the order inflow is very good. In fact, we are restricting ourselves in taking a couple of orders because of the availability of factory capacity. So the order inflow is very good, and the unlocking is happening, and the retailers are doing well.
Okay. And sir, that's very heartening to hear that, sir. Sir, any kind of risk in sense due to this COVID issues, any kind of write-offs or something which can come up?
So, in terms of write-off, I guess we don't have any write-off as such today. The customers whom we deal with in the garment division is very sound customers, and we are getting, in fact, if you look at our receivable, it has come down by 20 crores from 99 to 73. It has come down considerably. It is mainly because they are paying us little earlier now, because they wanted to support all the suppliers, and the customers are paying us earlier, a week earlier.
So there is no issue with regard to any payments, default or something like that.
That's really great to hear, sir. Sir, also wanted to know if you can answer on the capex requirements which you will see for further expansion in the going ahead, sir?
So in terms of the expansion, I think last call we have updated that we are investing 15 crores in the spinning capacity expansion, and anything in terms of investment into the garment division will be only to support our hostel facilities. It could be anywhere between 10 to 12 crores.
So what is the kind of debt numbers you have, and what is the outlook going ahead of the debt figure?
Debt today is at net debt is at 130 crores of debt. The outlook, like we want it to be a zero debt company in another 2 years' time.
Thank you, sir. I will come back to the further question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Ashwin Reddy from Samatva Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for the follow-up. So firstly, on the retail part, I wanted to get some more thoughts. So, what have been the key learnings, say, from the Crocodile brand episode so far? And say when you have a multi-brand approach, so what are the 2-3 points that you believe will change for you, which would help, which would help us have a different set of outcomes?
Sorry, can you speak a little louder, please?
Yeah. So basically, I'm trying to see what has been the key learnings from the Crocodile brand that we had so far. And when you have a multi-brand approach, I'm trying to understand what are the key things that will change, or what are the key things that you're banking on?
See, in terms of the learning, the key learnings will be to increase the square feet. The presence needs to be increased so that the revenue can increase considerably. And what we have worked on is on the centralized warehousing system, where we are constantly reviewing the inventory and the other inventory related, because inventory is something which could pile up in the retail because of the cut sizes and so on. So we have strategized, or we have gotten experience in terms of how to strategize on the inventory pile up and how to liquidate it. And on the multi-brand, I feel that you have to have a couple of options. Like I have developed Crocodile as a casual and a formal wear brand so far. And going forward, if there could be a brand which can be used, which can be an athlete brand or a sportswear brand, which could complement each other in terms of the store presence and sales store growth can also come up, because I'm having multi-brands in the same store. So this could be a combination which could increase our sales per store, so that the revenues can increase, unit price can increase per person.
Okay. So basically, you're saying the existing network of Crocodile stores will also be used and become like a multi-brand outlets, or not clear? Just to
See, so in Crocodile, with a single brand, if you need to grow, then you have to only grow the menswear only as a growth, and then you need to pile up a lot of stocks and a lot of liquidation, a lot of unsold things. So these are the lessons, which means there is a limitation of growth of one single brand. But in order to grow better way, so we need to have more than one brand, so that we will have minimum stocks in all the brands and different segments. One is menswear, one may be kidswear, one may be sports and athleisure brand. So you have a mix of all. So the same amount of inventory can be split across the 3 brands. So where the cash liquidity will be better, liquidation will be much better. So this is the learning and this is the strategy.
Okay, all right. Thank you. This is helpful. And second question, sir, is on the SP UK front. Say, so given that in the SP UK division, you're doing not just kids wear, but I assume men's and women's wear as well, right? So how do you see this business in the next 1-2 years? So how do you see the scale up happening in this business for SP UK?
Yeah, this is a good question. See, here, if you look at considering this COVID situation, the retail brands, they are restricting themselves from traveling to various sourcing countries to manage their supply chain, order placing, etc. So which means, so they need somebody who can serve them locally. from in the UK or in other countries like. So this our SP UK office is now very much advantageous to them, because they don't have to travel all the way to look for new factories or placing orders or samples or quality control or compliances, etc. Since this SP UK is giving all full service to those retail customers, so which means this model is working out, picking up much better than what it used to be, because people prefer someone can support them locally, the retailers prefer. So we are getting more and more new customers added. We have been having 2 customers all these years. Now we have added another 3 more customers. So there are about 5 customers, and there is no limitation of capacities because we can source from any factories, any countries, as long as they are fully complied with. So this is a wonderful business model, so which needs to take off much to a new height in the next 2-3 years' time.
Got it. That sounds interesting. So again, a follow-up on this. So what you do right now is only the sourcing part, or do you also design and do more value-added stuff for the brands in UK?
It's a completely different setup, which starts from creative designing, product development, and the sourcing and supply quality control complex. It's a full service.
Got it. Okay, so thank you so much. That's fantastic. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Nilesh Joshi from Green Lantern Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, taking forward from the previous question and your answer, so this in the new model from SP UK, you will restrict to children's wear only, right? Is that correct?
In the garment division.
Yes.
Yes.
The SP UK model where.
So SP UK model is for all. It is not restricted only to kids wear. It is doing men's wear and ladies wear also.
Okay. And then
not only the jersey products, even the wovens.
And you would try to outsource these products from the manufacturers, possibly from India. Is that correct?
India, but we are not restricted only to India. We can source from Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, from anywhere else,
Okay. But in that case, we don't have that kind of expertise or any capabilities to source from Bangladesh or other countries. Because typically our model has been we were the manufacturer for last many years. So how do you feel comfortable and confident to do this outsourcing, provide with the same quality control and...
No, you have to understand it's completely different independent business entity where in our UK office they have expertise who used to work for the retailers, who used to work for retailers as designers for sourcing or quality control. Same way, even their office in India also have recruited somebody from the various buying officers who used to source from various countries. So there is a very strong, completely different kind of outlook people are there. There's nothing to do with the manufacturing outlook, So that's the kind of a team we have in UK and India.
Okay. And what is your, feel that in next 2 to 3 years, how big this opportunity can be?
It's in the next 2-3 years, it will definitely, we expect to double it, for sure, minimum.
Okay. And you were also in the last call talking about repeating a similar model expansion in US and in other countries. So
Yes, that we are not ruling it out. It will take some time. Once this COVID thing settles down, we will think of those also.
Yeah, but then for that you will again have another office in US and Europe, or everything will be done through SP?
Too early, so we have still not conceptualized it. So we are yet to think about it. But there are ways and it.
Okay. And sir, the last question is on the India export. You were talking about 2 new customers to start probably in Q2. So is it on track or there is some delay on that?
Yes, I think we are very soon we'll be getting the orders, the inquiries converted into orders anytime. The sample developments and costings are going on.
I see. And sir, what is the progress on your model of doing 2-shift operation? Where are you there at the moment?
Yes, See, we have been already we have started the mobilizing people after the COVID lockdown from various other states. Those states also have their own restrictions. So sending the people migrants from there are it's a challenge. So we have already met most of the people, and probably we would be able to start 1-2 shifts from September onwards. Very hopefully we are doing it, which we originally supposed to do in the month of June, July. But due to this second lockdown, it's been pushed to September, October. And I'm very confident in October, November, it will be 1 or 2 more factories with few lines, double shift will be operated.
So your ecosystem for hostel and those facilities are already ready?
Yeah, very much intact.
I see. And so last question is, are you, from the talk what you explained about retail division, it appears that you are still very confident that this is a good business and you want to explore it further, because in spite of having gone through very rough patch and losses for many years, it appears that you still have a lot of, I would use it in a layman word, a lot of emotional liking towards that business, and you feel that business can be scalable. So again, I want to understand that. I hope, what you are thinking may turn out to be positive for the shareholders. But can you really share that? Is it that your product and what you are selling in retail is giving you confidence that there is a huge potential and you have a capability to cater to through a quality product, basically quality product versus a price point? And that is what your learning is, and is that encourages you to spend energy and time of management into that business?
See, in terms of emotional connect, I guess that's not right, because we tried to hide it off from the garment division, from SP Apparel, but that didn't work out well. But in terms of the retail, whatever experience we gain, we feel that if you have another 2 brands in the same or the infrastructure can be utilized for 2-3 brands, whatever we have invested into the IT, whatever we have invested into the warehousing facility, whatever we have invested into the networking facility, whatever we have invested into the design experience that we have already almost like 14-15 years of investments into people also. I think once we feel that the 2-3 brands in one umbrella could definitely work out. Retail will definitely come out of its existing issues.
It is not an emotional connect or something like that. We have got all the experiences. As I mentioned, that single brand, the growth will be a challenge, and unless you grow considerably, then overheads will never be able to meet our requirements. There's always a challenge between the overheads and the growth. So as you suddenly with one brand, if you grow, then you are left with more unsold stock. So what happens, unless we have 2-3 brands with different targeted audience and 2-3 different areas like men's, kids, and then maybe sportswear thing. So with our experience, with our network, with our IT support, with our warehousing and logistics, everything we have invested, everything. But we are not able to grow with a single brand. If we make an attempt to grow, then we end up with liquidation of stock, which ultimately ends up with the bottom line hit, and especially during this COVID period 2 times.
Right.
So by adding 2 more new businesses, new brands into this one with the same people, same setup, it should definitely work very well.
And
so we are optimistic about, not emotionally taking a decision on this.
No, I would understand you would have done a lot of homework before getting into that. But second point is, the products what you will sell through retail, you will be manufacturing yourself, or it would be outsourced also?
All will be outsourced.
All are outsourced. Even currently what you are selling is outsourced. Is that correct?
Yes, very much. See, because it has trousers, denims, a lot of things, and men's we are not producing currently for the crocodile. Already the supply chain is also set up. The supplier base is set up. The systems, everything, purchasing, costings, everything is set up. The only thing scaling up is a big challenge. Either you grow in the scaling up in the same brand or with additional brand which is equal size of business. So this is the concept.
And you will also take it on the e-commerce platform
very much, of course, yes.
Okay. And the last is, again on that, so how many more years would you like to give yourself on this retail?
To turn around.
Yes, to turn around and maybe a bit of positive, whichever way you look at it.
See, in terms of retail, if you look at our presentation where we have even 5 years of performance of retail, we have been doing well. But for in terms of 20 and 21 is the 2 years where we underwent severe crisis because of the pandemic. So I guess you cannot look at the retail with the pandemic. So I guess you have to look at retail. In the last sheet, you will see the 5 years of performance of both retail, garment, and UK separately. So if you look at that, it's been doing well for year 17, 18, and 19. Only during 20 and 21 we had challenges. So even 20 was better because 20 was hit. March 20 was date when pandemic hit. So it was almost 20 is also as good as 19. But only 21 we have gone severe pressure because we have to liquidate all the stocks at lower price or either liquidate stocks because of the season. So you should not look at retail performance single it out for year FY21. You have to look at it over a period of time.
So how soon you should be launching those two products? On the two more brands.
That depends how we get the brand and see how we move forward in terms of raising money. We have to look at all the options there.
Sure. Yeah. So all the best, and I'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Bharat Seth from Quest Investments. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. Hello.
Yes, please.
Now, taking forward to previous participant, retail business, how well we are prepared on the supply chain management and designing. I believe we may be sourcing, but designing will be our in-house, or design also we outsource, because right now we have only one product. So we are diverting into another product which is a totally different category. So how well we are prepared on those front?
Yeah, it's a good question. See, generally, there are few things which we need to look into this retail. One is the designing part, which is the key thing. So designing part, we for Crocodile we have our in-house designing capability because being men's one and not too complicated one. But when it comes to, if at all we go for the kids one and for the sports brand, so we already have an office in the UK, correct, in SP UK. So they also have designers, so we can outsource them. We can hire them who can be managed by that office. If once we go for the kids brand, because already those designers are expertise in the kids designing. So if we take a brand of kids, then it should not be a problem. And sportswear is also not a big deal. That can also be handled by our SPU office. And they will have the counterpart sitting over here in the retail office, and they can manage it. And sourcing, when it comes to sourcing, we are sitting in the hub of sourcing, I would say. Say this Coimbatore, Tirupur, this area, we have plenty of suppliers who have been working with us for the past 20 to 30 years. So we have the best factories, fully compliant factories. So sourcing, we already have a buying team, we have a buying system in place. So buying is already there. It's not a big deal, and we know because we are already manufacturing this kidswear product. So we know what kind of embellishments or what kind of buttons or special embellishments to be sourced from where. So we have all the connections and networks for this sourcing. And when it comes to the quality is also very, very important. Where already we have the team in our retail division who are underloaded because of this turnover. So once the volume ramps up, so we have already a team of quality who will be able to manage this quality control as well.
Okay. Sir, our garment division in previous first quarter we were operating at 50%. So what a rate we are operating in July and August?
July has gone up by another 10%, sir.
So only 60% we are now operating, correct?
We are still.
Why I tell you, because we are insisting on double vaccination of all. So that is also one of the reasons why we are not able to take everyone. And even the workforce, they are also not immediately coming because whenever there is an availability of vaccination in the local places, so they wait and then get it done. Although we insist them to come, we can also provide you for vaccination. They want to do it there. So probably by end of August, all should be in place, and September we will be again back to normal as we used to be, between 75-80% of the utilization.
Okay. And now coming to this SP UK, as you explained that we do right from designing to sourcing and everything. So what kind of a per margin trajectory are we really looking, because we will be doing more and more value-added work over there?
So, sir, there the margin historically is like at 5.5% of margin. EBITDA margins can be looked at SP UK. It's purely a trading model.
I do understand, Balaji, but as our chairman said, that we do a lot of value add also. So from that perspective, I just want to get some sense.
That will only improve the top line. It is nothing to do with the margins. Margins anyway will be around that percentage only. The value addition will be, realization value will be better.
Okay.
You get my point?
Yeah, so it will help us to grow, bigger size of the business.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kunchan Kabra, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Sir, thank you for the opportunity. So, sir, my first question was, on the cost front, like cost as a percentage of sales, if we see for this quarter, it has declined quarter on quarter. So is it because of inventory gains or result of yarn captive consumption that we do, because assuming the yarn prices are on an increasing trend, or will we see an increase in raw material costs going forward in Q2? So what does the trend look like here?
So you're talking about the gross margin, right?
Sir, correct. Sir, meaning that revenue has decreased quarter on quarter, but the cost has decreased a lot more, which has resulted in increase in EBITDA margin quarter on quarter.
Can you explain slowly, please?
Sir, I'm saying that the revenue quarter on quarter has decreased, but the cost has decreased a lot more, which has resulted in a rise in EBITDA margin quarter on quarter. Like we did 21% this quarter.
If you look at Q4 revenue, we have not recognized ROSCTL, which is around 4.5 crores. For the current quarter, I have recognized 8.5 crores of ROSCTL as my revenue. 8.5 crores on the total revenue of 110 crores is purely around 10%. So if you look at in terms of value, it will be like, don't look at it in terms of percentage, look at it in terms of value. Without ROSCTL, my costs will be same.
Okay.
So I am sitting with the revenue of 10 crores extra this quarter. That is why my COGS has come down.
Okay. So also in SP UK we deal in kids, men's and women's wear. So here in the garment division also, are we looking forward to anything of such that we enter men or women's division, or just we are focusing on kids wear?
No, only the kids and babies, because the amount of requirement from our existing customers is so much that even we double the capacity, still we will be flooded with orders of this one. So we have no room. Although some of the customers have asked for, they would like to place orders for women and men's wear also. But currently we have no room for any other segments, please.
Okay. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Shweta Shah from Samarthya Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. My first question is, what is your view on garments division going ahead? And also, how is the COVID situation currently, and how is the labor availability in the plants?
Yes. Currently the textile and apparel industries in India seems to be very promising and very, very attractive. So far SP Apparel also. So we have a very clear visibility in terms of order inflow and the return of the existing customers. And we also have plans, as I mentioned, that there are 2 customers that are being added in this quarter. And another 2 more customers they approached us, and we are working on those customers also. They are again also the international various countries, that kind of a retailer. So as far as the garment division is concerned, order book and the expansion of the capacity, we have already almost addressed this on a permanent basis, this challenge. So we will start, experiencing this result from October onwards, or probably the post Diwali. So wherein, we will have more people workforce with us. We expect to increase by another about 30 to 40% more workforce from what we used to have. And the order inflow is not an issue. So we see this, the future quarters are to be very, very exciting. And what's the second question?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Yes. My second question was, how is the COVID situation currently, and how is the labor availability in the plants?
Yeah. See, as we mentioned before, also, the first lockdown has given us a lot of experience. So that time everybody were panicking. We did not know how to manage the situation. Now this is all we are used to this new normal way of working condition. And the workforce, they are also very safe, and they are well taken care of by our factory management, and they are confident about this management. So we don't see any reluctance from the workmen to come for the job on a daily basis.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. One last question. Yeah. Can you also throw some light on various export incentives?
Sorry, say it again, please.
Can you throw some light on the various export incentives?
Light on?
Various export incentives.
Interrupt you, but your voice is breaking. Can I request you?
Is it clear now? I'm sorry. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you throw some light on the various export incentives that you are receiving?
Various?
Export incentives.
Export incentives. Yeah, I
yes.
think our FCPL, they have announced for until 2024 about 4.5%, close to that one. 4% will be the net one. And but I came to understand from reliable sources that our government is talking to European, British, and the American for a FTA, free trade agreement one. And this is, I think, almost reached a shape, and we are very confident that very soon we will have a free trade agreement. If that's the case, then that will be a windfall for this industry, for the garmenting, because the importing countries will get them landed cheaper.
Okay. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask the question. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask the question. As there are no further questions, I will now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Yes, thanks for participating in this phone call as usual, and thanks for your support and the confidence you have in this company, your company. And as I mentioned in the last phone call, please rest assured that we have done all the spade works and the base works, everything, for a continuous growth performance in the quarters to come. But for this COVID, the situation would have been far better. So I am very confident now, considering even, anticipating any COVID situation, we have planned in such a way that it is not going to be affected very severely as it was in the last 2 lockdowns. So please rest assured that we will give better results in the quarters to come. Thank you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Systematix Institutional Equities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.